Good morning, my wild and beautiful friends. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're talking epic, delicious, healthy breakfast tacos. Keep on watching to see how we make them. Okie dokie, everybody. To get these epic breakfast tacos started, I'm going to start by slicing a portobello mushroom really thin lengthwise, and then I'm going to go back through and chop it the other way really small to get a nice dice on it. These little guys will brown up really nicely and cook down and give us a nice meaty texture to our taco. Really, any mushroom will do. I just happen to have this little portobello in my fridge. And I'm just going to toss these little guys in a frying pan with a little bit of olive oil on medium to medium-high heat. Let them brown up and cook down until they're about half the size as they were when I threw them in there. While those are cooking down, I'm just going to take a couple of leaves of kale here, and I'm going to pull off the leaf from the stem. And we're going to add those to our mushrooms once they're cooked down a little. The kale will definitely cook down a ton, but if you don't want giant leaves, you can go through and kind of roughly chop these, but I kind of just break them up with my hands, and it seems to work just fine. Okay, it's been about 3 to 4 minutes. I've been watching the mushrooms to make sure they don't burn. They're looking good. They've cooked down a little bit. I'm going to throw in our kale here, add a bit of salt, and then I'm just going to throw our lid onto our frying pan and let these sort of steam up for just about 2 or 3 minutes at the most. You can see almost immediately they turn this lovely, vibrant green. The moisture from the mushrooms cooking and the little bit of moisture from washing our kale is making it real steamy, as you can tell. So it's just been about a minute, nice and green. I'm going to toss it with our mushrooms so we can get a nice little brown char on our kale. I really am a giant fan of kale, but truly what converted me was realizing that I've got to cook it long enough to get a nice brown on it. That way the flavor is just so much more rich. See that little char there? I'd like to get it on just about all the kale. Really makes a difference. I'm also going to add some garlic powder here. I'm also going to be pretty generous with my black pepper. You do you, whatever seasonings you like in your tofu scramble. This will totally work just fine. I'm going to add a generous amount of nutritional yeast as well. And then to bring it all together and make it nice and creamy and eggy and breakfasty, I'm going to first add some olive oil, and then I'm going to add some just egg. I'm adding about 1/4 to 1/3 of this bottle here. I've shaken it up, and I'm just going to let it start to cook without doing any sort of stirring, almost like frittata style. And after a couple minutes, I'm going to go back through and scramble it. And this is going to just add so much flavor and egginess to all of our veggies. So it's pretty veggie heavy, but it's still going to taste a lot like an omelet. This recipe I'm just making for myself for a pretty big brunch, but you can definitely use that whole bottle of just egg and a lot more veggies and make this in bulk and have a meal prep for breakfast tacos all week, which is a fabulous idea. So now that we're just making sure that egg is cooked in, we're looking pretty good. I'm just going to put this aside and get some tortillas toasted up. I'm kind of going for the street taco vibe, so I'm using some small corn tortillas, and I'm just going to fry them on both sides until they're a little bit brown and nice and pliable. I'm not going to use any oil. I don't feel like it's necessary. And now we shall assemble. This is where it gets real good. So typically I would just use diced avocado, but apparently in Logan right now there are no such thing as avocados that are even remotely ripe. So I'm using some prepackaged guacamole. I do like that this is in a little package. It makes it so I can not eat too much of it. Then I'm going to add our veggie just egg mixture and some diced tomatoes. By all means, use whatever toppings you have on hand or prefer. But I'm telling you, this combo is kind of life-changing. I'm also going to use some of the vegan feta, that I also used for our Brussels sprouts in our last video. It really seems to double as a queso fresco really well. It has such a zing to it, and you just need a little bit to add a creamy factor. I'm going to get the rest of these assembled, and we will be almost ready to enjoy. Okay, so these tacos, as is, are pretty darn amazing, but we're not here for just amazing today. We are here for epic breakfast tacos. So this next ingredient is going to just up your taco game. I found this kimchi-style verde salsa with probiotics at Natural Grocers. I will link this. I'm going to try to find it online for you because I'm not sure if it's at normal grocery stores. I've only been able to find it at Natural Grocers. I just discovered it. It is so good. I've been trying to get more fermented veggies in my diet, and this is the perfect way to do it. It's surprisingly not very spicy, so if I were you, I would also use some hot sauce if you're into the spice, but just for the crunch and flavor factor, this is so amazing. So I'm going to top each of my tacos here with our little probiotic verde salsa sauerkraut situation. I think that's what it pretty much is. We're going to top it, and then of course I'm going to squirt a little bit of lime to just freshen everything right up. And this, my friends, is my version of a healthy, delicious, epic breakfast taco. These are so satisfying, so filling, and really quite good for you. I hope you give these a try, and if you do, please let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. I hope that you're all staying safe and healthy. Thank you so very much for watching. I can't wait to talk to you soon. Cheers.